Stock market situation is crazy. All right, let's see how crazy it really is.
$500 billion. Does that number even mean anything to you? It is so astronomically high that it almost feels fake. It just sounds make-believe, like made-up doubloons. Now, me being the turbo genius I am, I can process that number. In fact, it also happens to be how many wrinkles are in my big brain. Check this out. I just passed one hand through the other, and you'll never be able to figure out how I did it. $500 billion also happens to be how much money Nvidia just lost yesterday after DeepSeek slung its meat onto the scene. DeepSeek...
Is he saying in one day? In one day, Nvidia, the gaming company, the company with the GPU in this very laptop on which I'm recording the video, is that Nvidia lost 1 trillion? $500 billion, he said. Some kind of trillion. That's a lot of trillions. That's a lot of money. He's right. It's almost incomprehensible, the amount of money that has been lost. Yeah, I don't know how to compare that to anything. How am I going to make an analogy for anyone? Because I have no comparison for that one. Yeah, all right. Well, let's keep listening. Maybe he'll come up with something for us to value that against.
Is a Chinese AI company that in many cases is actually more sophisticated than current AI models that we use, and it's open source. So this puppy fucking exploded onto the scene, #1 in the App Store. Everyone's gushing grannies over it because it is unbelievable. I learned about it a little bit last night on stream, but I've been doing a deep dive on it today. It is crazy, the scope of this, and just how far along this technology is already getting. Nvidia wasn't the only one that got hit with the frying pan. Yesterday, a huge blow to the stock market occurred because of DeepSeek. It is, like, it can't be overstated just how big of a deal this technology is. And the fact that it's open source is also massive. Now, it's worth mentioning as of making this video, Nvidia stock has rebounded in a big way, like $260 billion. And it's probably only going to keep...
Oh, $260 billion is mad money. Or just in one day as well. Like, you drop $1 trillion and you bounce back up 200 billion. These are... He's right. It's almost incomprehensible. Like, how do you put that into any kind of perspective if you're not dealing with numbers like that all the time? So... That's it. That's an insane amount of wealth. I knew that AI companies had a lot of money and they had a lot of investment. I didn't quite realize it was in the trillions. Okay.
It seems, but I mean it's like they're just grabbing Xbox 360 achievements at this point. Largest collapse in a single day and largest rebound in a single day, but it is still a huge deal. And that hit they took wasn't, for no reason. And the rebound isn't for no reason either. But I think Nvidia is going to need to directly compete with DeepSeek now, because DeepSeek has proven you don't need to just keep buying top-of-the-line equipment, more and more powerful chips to get this top-of-the-line performance. You can get that top-of-the-line performance without the biggest, baddest chips on the market.
All right, so a big thing that I've heard about this whole thing is that Nvidia is so wealthy because they make microchips, and basically most huge platforms like Amazon, Tesla, huge, I think Microsoft as well, all of the big tech platforms, they buy all of their microchips from Nvidia because they're the best in the world. They produce it in Taiwan, and that's basically where the business comes from. I mean, they buy them for insane amounts of money, and that's just why it has such a big market cap. And then DeepSeek has come onto the market and they don't use any of those chips that cost an absolute fortune, and their product is, I think, actually valued better, like more quick or more fast, or like whatever metric you use to value an AI, it was valued higher than like OpenAI or any of the kind of American ones. So this has kind of thrown a wrench in the situation, basically. Because people don't know what to do. They have no clue. They're like, why are they able to make such a good product without the best things? So maybe we're gonna hear about this.
Almost $500 billion just got annihilated. It's like me in Path of Exile 2 when gambling, just losing all of my divine orbs. That just happened to Nvidia. Nvidia shares tanked 17%. The company lost a record $589 billion in market cap. Holy. Wow. Oh, man. Oh, their biggest shareholder went from 124 billion to 103 billion. He's in poverty like the rest of us now.
Oh my goodness. Shambles. Shambles, guys. Gosh. Oh my goodness. Better get him publicly funded housing then. This guy, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it.
How's he gonna survive? Yikes. Fucking brokey. Oracle also got hit hard. Start a GoFundMe for him? Yeah, we should.
Go fund me for the guy with $103 billion. Let me think about that one. Yeah, I could put some money towards that. Poor guy. Really unfortunate stuff.
Chinese artificial intelligence company DeepSeek grabbing American attention and sending shockwaves through Wall Street due to its new tech, which some experts say rival that of OpenAI's ChatGPT. It's also catching investors off guard because of the low development costs for its API app, which Wedbush security analyst Dan Ives pegged at only $6 million. By comparison, OpenAI, Google, and other major US companies are on track to invest a total of roughly $1 trillion in AI over the coming years. Oh my god.
So they spent $6 million developing an AI that is as good, if not better, than an AI that has been developed with $1 trillion. That's kind of embarrassing for America, I can't lie. Whoever's building the AIs in America, they need to step the game up, or they're just taking huge bonuses. Wow. Oh my goodness. How? I mean, I'm sure the Chinese have some cost-cutting ability in terms of labor and perhaps some other areas, but that is a stupid amount. We Americans are overpaying stupidly for their AI and their chips then.
These numbers just don't even feel real anymore. It just seems like actual nothing numbers, like fucking RuneScape gold. Now, to briefly explain why DeepSeek has just kind of fucking cowabunged onto the scene here and just administered a clobbering to some of the big boys in the industry, it's because its claims of how much more efficient it is, and its claims that they can back up. It uses cheaper chips, less powerful chips, so it's able to have a performance that matches or even in some cases exceeds AI that we currently have while using much cheaper chips. So obviously people are looking at this as, oh, well, maybe we don't need the creme de la creme top-of-the-line GPUs from NVIDIA. You know, if we're able to have DeepSeek here that is so efficient utilizing cheaper chips. On its Chinese site, DeepSeek blamed large-scale malicious attacks on its service, requiring it to temporarily limit new registrations. Existing users can log in as usual. It rivals OpenAI's ChatGPT and Meta's Llama 3.1. It was #1 on Apple App Store over the weekend. It's built the model using reduced capability chips from NVIDIA, which is impressive and thus has caused major agita for US tech stock. High praise. DeepSeek R1 is one of the most amazing and impressive breakthroughs I've ever seen, and as an open source, a profound gift to the world. So what does that mean? Who is this mysterious open source? Well, it means that, let's say I wanted DeepSeek. I could go get my grubby little paws on it and just download the model myself if my hardware was strong enough to run it. I imagine a lot of people aren't going to have hardware that's strong enough to run DeepSeek, but if you did, you could just hop on over and download the whole model and run it on your hardware. Now, as was mentioned in that article, they are claiming that there was a big cybersecurity attack on them, so they had to halt signups. But if you already had an account, you can still access DeepSeek. And from everything I've seen and read from those that do have access and have been using DeepSeek, it's very impressive. This isn't just a lot of phony baloney hype. It really is comparable to ChatGPT. And, of course, it is a Chinese AI app. Thus, there is censorship. Big time.
Just before we get into the censorship, how do you measure one AI being better than the other? Okay, so obviously, if you get like a faster response time, let's say you ask it a simple math question and one takes a while to load and the other one's pretty instantaneous, then you obviously know that one's better. But in terms of like if you ask it like a philosophical question, like one of them's going to come up with like a list of different interpretations, and the other one's going to come up with a list of those interpretations as well. Like, how do you decide which list of interpretations is better? They're just grabbing the information from the same websites, from the same internet. I mean, maybe the Chinese has got more censorship, which we're going into right now, but I would just struggle to be able to tell which one is better. I would like to know the metrics by which they're measuring this kind of stuff. And before we get into the Chinese censorship side of this whole thing, the other thing I have been hearing, and this is from quite a few people now, a few like news sources and stuff, is that because it's Chinese, much like TikTok, after it's been downloaded and when you're running it, it actually monitors a lot of apps like in the background. It monitors like keystrokes outside of the app. It collects like all your data kind of thing, which like very, very intrusive in terms of what it's getting. So for most people, that actually really no one cares, because you know, at this point, everyone has our data anyway. We use so many apps and we agree to so many cookies and all that. And at this point, it really doesn't matter. But some people on a national security level don't really want the Chinese to have it. So, okay. I mean, that's their choice. I personally haven't used it. I don't really have too much of a use case for AI, to be honest. But if you're into it, then that's your choice. You know the risks.
I've seen the biggest one, no surprise, Winnie the Pooh, which just always makes me giggle. You can't even mention Winnie the Pooh in Marvel Rivals. That is like the ultimate sin. Like, if you say Winnie the Pooh in Marvel Rivals, they probably write down your gamer tag and store it somewhere in like this, you know, off-site hit list at the Marvel Rivals devs headquarters or something. And it's the same here with DeepSeek. I saw a few people goofing around with it, talking about Winnie the Pooh and Xi Jinping, and the model, in all the instances I saw, would not spit out anything for you. It wouldn't even noodle around with it. And in one case I saw it said that it was beyond its parameters. Winnie the Pooh in the Thousand Acre Wood is just too powerful for AI to comprehend. Too much honey. And in other cases I saw that it would talk about Winnie the Pooh, but if you tried to connect Winnie the Pooh to Xi Jinping, then it would apologize and say that it can't really get into that. It just, you know, slam on the brakes there. Were you holding any Nvidia? I am not in the stock market, so no. Though I might get into the stock market now just to buy Nvidia. Oh, Nvidia already had a statement. DeepSeek is an excellent AI advancement and a perfect example of test time scaling. DeepSeek's work illustrates how new models can be created using that technique, leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant. Most groundbreaking thing about the AI is that it's cheaper to run. It can do the same things faster / as fast using less power and resources. That's the impressive part. Well, not only that,
okay, so it's the speed and the resources required is essentially what's stunning everyone so much. Which, okay, fair enough. Like, the difference between 6 million and 1 trillion is unbelievable. So yeah, okay, that is impressive. You're right. But I don't really think Nvidia cares too much because, okay, their stock tanked massively. I mean, they lost $500 billion, right? But then it recovered a few $100 billion. And also, DeepSeek is built off NVIDIA GPUs as well. So they control the American market and they also control the Chinese market. So I think at the end of the day, they're laughing either way. Sure, it's like a short-term pain for long-term gain. Because either whichever AI wins, they're going to be on the forefront of it. So yeah, I don't think they care.
Being open source is big. You can run this AI on a toaster. It's game-changing. You can download the large language model easily and use it privately on your computer. It no longer has insane power requirement. This whole thing is so fascinating to me. This is a company that has produced something for a handful of millions. From what I've read, it's like $6 million is what all up this has costs. And it is rivaling and even exceeding some of the other big boys on the block that cost billions. It's unbelievable, really. And I'm so curious to see how this continues to evolve. And the reason I harp on the open source so much is that I just always think that is such a step in the right direction to pushing industries, like the actual advancement of this kind of tech. Instead of like hoarding the Krabby Patty secret formula, the recipe or anything, by giving everyone access to it, especially when access to it is much easier because it's so much more efficient. More people can utilize it because they won't need such absurd computational power to use it. It's just, I'm just very curious to see where it goes, really. Yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on it, as I imagine most people in the world will be. It's a pretty fucking big deal. That's about it. See ya.
The whole idea about it being open source is actually really interesting as well. I like that very much because, yeah, it's great for competition. Like US companies now going to be able to download it. They'll run it and they'll see why it works so much more efficiently. And then they'll make those improvements as well. It's competition, brings the cost down for average users, okay? And it prevents monopolies and all that kind of good stuff. And if you really want to know, it's a lot of economics terms, so you can go figure it out. But overall, I don't think I'll be using it because I kind of like my data, even though I'm literally projecting myself onto the internet here. I like some of my data to be kind of secret or not out there for everyone to see. But if you get it, enjoy it. You know, why not enjoy it? And I really hope this kind of brings improvement to everyone around us. This could also be a good way for the US and China to maybe get a little bit of friendship, because they can work simultaneously on some AI and make sure the other one doesn't like go the wrong way with it. They can, you know, it can be a little cooperation thing, which would be really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, it's not a bad thing in my opinion. Well, if you enjoyed that video, if you enjoyed me yapping away you about some AI stuff, then feel free to check out my last video. It was about the Logan Paul and Jake Paul fight. I don't want to say fight, but you know, if you watch the video, you'll know what I mean. But they basically announced there was a fight between the two of them, or something to that effect. So you'll find out the nuances in the video. I'll link it in the end card. But yeah, you'll enjoy that video if you enjoyed this one. And if you watch it to the end, then I'm assuming you actually kind of, you like me. Hey, nice. I appreciate that. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Either watch it or don't watch it. It's up to you. And thank you for watching this one. So thank you very much. Have a great day.